Thanks for tuning into the NBA here on 2K Sports. It's Saturday night basketball. It's the Miami Heat facing...
It's the home of the Suns here in Phoenix, Arizona, as 2K Sports brings you today's live action from the U.S. Airways Center. For the Miami Heat, they coming off a loss to Denver in the Rockies and just couldn't finish strong. They took a 4-point loss in that one.
Their shot selection in that loss stood out to me, guys. Too much one-on-one play, not enough ball movement.
It certainly was not an example of team basketball, Steve. I mean, there's no question about that.
All right, presented by State Farm, let's take a look at the Miami starting five. Mario Chalmers and Dwayne Wade, the tandem in the backcourt. LeBron James is out there with Chris Bosh, and it's Battier in at the small forward position. And for Phoenix, filling out the wings are Brown and Dudley. Gortat is out there with Beasley, and it's Dragic in at the point guard.
And guys, you know the story. Erik Spoelstra, coach of the Heat, a guy who worked his way from the ground up with this organization. I mean, from video coordinator to advanced scout, assistant coach, then director of scouting, over 13 years. Finally becomes the head coach and has shown himself to be very much a good fit for that position.
Now here's LeBron. Michael Beasley missing his last shot. The shot's good from LeBron.
Man, he makes a lot of tremendous plays at that end of the court. We see it from him every game.
There's a screen by Gortat. Here's Beasley. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
And, you know, going back to Erik Spoelstra, what a job he's done over the last couple of years with all of that pressure after the acquisition of LeBron James. So much scrutiny and criticism, but he handled it beautifully. He got his team playing its best when they needed to be playing their best, and they were able to capture that championship a year ago. What a run.
All right, now we're going to go to Doris Burke, who spoke with head coach Erik Spoelstra. What'd you find out, Doris?
We talked about some of the matchups he'll be watching in this game, and he told me I'll be looking at how we deal with Marcin Gortat inside. He's a guy who can score in any number of ways, posting up, pulling up from outside, or rolling to the rim. And he's also a factor on the glass. Guys, Gortat might not be a household name, but he's an impact big man in the NBA, no question.
Thanks, Doris.
I think there's always a balance for Miami between getting out and running and letting Wade and LeBron do their thing and running the sets that Erik Spoelstra likes. The Miami franchise has always been very controlled offensively over the years, and it's been a little bit of a quandary in terms of how to play. Do we get out and run, or do we play the way this team has traditionally played?
That's good.
Well, none of the defenders were quick enough to step out and get a hand in his face on that jump shot. Big mistake there.
And LeBron throws it down.
All business there, not messing around one bit. Flushed it right with one hand.
He never does, Clark. He never does.
Well, that's kind of his trademark, those slams like that one.
There is a tightrope that has been walked, Steve. You're right, with Miami in terms of play style. They, you know, Clark seemed to find a balance, though, I thought, last year.
Tell you what, you gotta love his aggressiveness finishing inside like that.
Well, his leaping ability, Clark, gives him a great advantage.
And that's why they look to get him the ball around the rim. I mean, it feels like it's either a dunk or a foul and a couple of free throws every possession.
That was a great angle we just saw, courtesy of Sprite. Jacks up a 3, and it's Wade with the rebound. LeBron James on the wing. Puts the lead pass in front of him. Bosh dishes to Battier from downtown. No good from Wade. Here's Dudley. The shot misses. The offense coming free and easy as we wrap up the first quarter. Suns ahead, up by 4 and 10. Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And from what we've seen, guys, from the Suns, what are you thinking so far?
Man, I thought they built this lead mainly because of their work on the glass. They really dominated the rebounding totals.
And it takes an effort from all 5 guys to get a rebounding advantage like that. Everybody has to rebound the ball. That's how you finish off your defense.
So with Wade on the bench, this is who Erik Spoelstra has on the floor. They've got Lewis, Allen out there with Norris Cole. Then there's Haslam, and it's Anthony in at the center position. Offensive rebound, O'Neal. Johnson. Sinks the triple. Johnson's got his first 3 points of the game.
And there he goes. He didn't get a three in the first, but starting to look for it here.
Well, it's been an interesting transition for the Suns. You know, several years ago they were one of the elite teams in the league. Now they're more in the middle of the pack. So this is not the same team that the Suns once were, but they're still very competitive on a nightly basis.
Yeah, they're not going to miss too many of those. That's high percentage stuff there.
Allen passes to Anthony. Over Morris. Kicks it out to Allen. From deep three-point range. Rebound by the Suns. O'Neal's got his third rebound tonight. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing the last matchup with the Lakers.
And they were really out-rebounded in that game, put them at a huge disadvantage.
Well, you get clobbered on the glass, it's always going to put you at a disadvantage, Steve. I mean, they needed to do a much better job of establishing position inside and then going after the ball. You can't just box out in that position. Go get the orange.
Yeah, Steve, the Suns still a good team and all, but not quite the force they once were when they would just go out and run teams right out of the building.
Yeah, I remember those days. You don't ever want to scoff at 19 and 14 at home, but the Suns know that they'll need to be much better than that in Phoenix if they want to get back to the playoffs.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. This is the second time they've matched up against Phoenix.
Boy, they were so good offensively in that game. It seemed like they had an open man to go to every time down the floor. Probably wasn't the best defensive effort that we've seen from their opponent.
Well, they should get some of the credit for that. I mean, they threw a few new wrinkles into their game plan, and the defense wasn't ready for it.
Now let's go to Doris Burke. Doris?
Guys, the Miami Heat in their present incarnation have lacked that dominant shot-blocking big man in the middle, but they still have been one of the league's elite defensive teams. Last season, they tweaked their defensive philosophy to try to force more turnovers and enable them to get out and run. As Eric Spoelstra said, we wanted to play more to our athleticism and our activity. And LeBron added, Coach just wants us to be disruptive. We're just trying to use our instincts to create more turnovers. Because we know if we create more turnovers, then it's off to the races. Kevin?
Doris, turnover is a great way to start a break, and they're dynamite in transition. Here's Dragic, covered by LeBron. Dragic kicks to Johnson. That's it, coming off an assist from Dragic. Dragic has got 6 assists in the game.
He didn't get off to much of a start early on, but he seems to have shaken off the rust here in the quarter.
And LeBron James gets it to go.
9 straight points for them off of wide open looks from deep. Something has to change for this deep.
Yeah, they're just giving up too many easy shots out there. They got to close out harder, get a hand up, make him put it on the floor.
There's 10 seconds left in the first half. Second shot opportunity, and there's the call by the official. They'll count the basket here following the goaltending call.
He will fight you down low, guys. Really battles in there. He comes up with a lot of second chance buckets.
And a tight game here as we end the first half. Suns lead by 5. And get ready now.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
The weekend is in full swing. For the Grizzlies, they'll be up against...
Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far.
What a game for LeBron. 13 points, and he's knocked down 3 shots from beyond the arc also.
Well, he's showing great form on those long-range shots, guys. His fundamentals are solid. He's squared up, balanced, good follow-through. That's why he's knocking these shots down.
Filling out the wings of Brown and Dudley. Gortat is out there with Beasley, and it's Dragic in at the point guard position. That's Alvin Gentry's 5 as we get into the second half. And that one's good. Chalmers has got 6 points.
Well, what's great about him, guys, is that even with the smallest amount of space, he can rise up and just bury the jump shot from long range.
You know, Steve, something else that jumps out at me about him is how often he thwarts penetration with his active hands. I mean, he gets a lot of his steals as players try to make their way to the basket.
And so here's Phoenix. They've led by as many as 11 points. Here's Beasley. It's hauled in by the Heat. Next up on the docket, the Bucks following this one. And that game will kick off a 4-game homestand.
Man, there's no question for Milwaukee. I mean, that's a game they would really like to have. And a breakthrough season last year for Mario Chalmers. Shot the ball well, 45% from the field, 39% from long distance. Numbers far and away better than in any of his prior seasons in the league.
Dragic dishes to Gortat. Some nice ball movement here by the Suns. Dragic kicks to Beasley. That's in, coming off an assist from Dragic. Dragic has got his 7th assist here tonight.
Boy, he's been so cool out there, composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
The Heat trail by 3.
And guys, for Chalmers, he credited his shooting improvement to his training and his health. He got up 500 shots every day during the lockout, and having his legs stronger and no ankle troubles helped him get the kind of lift he needed on that shot. He had an outstanding year.
And now LeBron pushing it up. No one back to stop him. Oh, and it looks like that's going to be a goaltending call. Yep, that's it. So they'll get the basket.
He didn't get to that one quite in time, Kevin. Those can be tough to gauge sometimes.
Crowd not happy at all with that call, Clark.
You know what? I hope these officials, Steve, have thick skin, and I know they do because they're hearing it on that call.
Here's what Phoenix has got going on right now. Jermaine O'Neal's checked in for Gortat. And it's Luis Scola in for Michael Beasley.
You know, the first shot defense has been pretty good, but they've been getting beat way too often with the second and third chance.
Well, the good coaches always say defense doesn't end until you secure that rebound.
And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Guys, the last collective bargaining agreement gave teams the right to amnesty the contract of one player. And this offseason, we saw the other shoe drop. A number of high-caliber players were amnestied by their teams, including power forward Luis Scola, who was let go by Houston. In the old days, an amnesty player could sign with 29 other teams. But now through the amnesty auction process, there's a bidding, and that's how the Suns brought him in. And guys, alongside Gortat on that front line, the Suns certainly have some scoring and toughness inside.
They've become a terrific team. Thanks, Doris. Wade for 3. Wade missing again.
Strange trend here, guys. They're totally controlling the glass, but they still trail.
You get the feeling that one is going to correct. Either they'll lose their edge on the glass or catch up in points sooner or later. We'll see.
Count the bucket. Chalmers has got 13 points in just this quarter.
You know, guys, this is what happens with him. All of a sudden, he can erupt from the floor.
He's got a nice touch on that shot normally, but good defense there clogging the lane.
And offensively, a great show for the fans through the first 3 quarters. It's been a fun game to watch. It's the... Fourth quarter getting going here. It's time for the Sprite Uncontainable Game. Doris Burke with the report. Hi, Doris.
And Kevin, for that great stretch the Heat put together, they get the Uncontainable Game Award. It was in the 3rd quarter when things started falling their way, and they were able to build this lead. No doubt they'll try to keep that momentum going through the end.
Thank you, Doris. And how many times, guys, do we see a run like this become the difference maker in the outcome of a game?
Well, that usually is the case, Kevin, when one team can get on a run like they did, where they just feel so dominant offensively. More often than not, that's going to be the difference in the game.
And in this game, even at the very beginning of that run, you could sense the momentum getting ready to take a huge swing. And swing it did, fellas. Swing it did.
So with Wade on the bench, this is who Erik Spoelstra has on the floor. We've got Haslam. Chalmers is out there with Allen. Then it's Mike Miller. And it's Lewis in at the 4-man position. LeBron left side. And he can't extend the lead to double digits.
Usually if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Gets the pass to Bryant. It's hauled in by LeBron. LeBron's now got rebound number 5 here tonight.
What a talented leaper. Loves to climb up and throw it down. Man.
Oh, Clark, he gets up so quickly.
Yeah, it's like a pogo stick.
Oh, my gosh. Not a lot of point guards in the league can jam like he can.
That's for sure.
And he's able to finish, guys, amongst all the big fellas in the paint. Just amazing athleticism.
And now Doris Burke has an update from the sidelines.
Thanks, Kevin. Alvin Gentry had some words for his team over that last break. He told them to stick with what's worked to this point, saying, listen, they're giving us all the space we need inside. Let's take advantage of it. Keep working the ball inside the paint.
Gortat, no good. Now the Heat take it the other way. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Here's Bosch. Beasley with the rebound. Suns trail by 10. Here's Brown and the powerful one-handed slam.
I can't imagine that we'll see one better than that tonight.
I'm with you on that, aren't you, Steve?
Oh, yeah, I'd be shocked if we saw something more entertaining than that one.
And the highlight reel replay brought to you by Sprite. Good stuff. A minute 20 left in the fourth quarter. Again, the miss by the Heat. They get a hand on it. Running out of time. And there's the call on James. That'll be his second foul of the game. The Suns running out of time. And Dudley kicks to Brown. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot two right here.
Well, Brown at 6'4", maybe a little undersized, but he makes up for it by being so athletic and strong. Can really get to the rim, just explodes off the floor.
True, Steve, very true. A spectacular dunker as a result. He didn't win the dunk contest, but you'll see him on the plays of the night from time to time. He's that explosive. LeBron can't get it to go.
Well, he struggled a little bit in the second half, but remember, he hit 3 of those in the first half.
Over James. The offensive rebound. Gortat dishes to Dragic. It's stolen by Allen. Feeds it to Chalmers. He gathers. Can't hit, so Phoenix will take it the other way. Guys, a critical time for them in this ballgame.
No room for mistakes right now.
It's stolen by Wade. And foul call. Looks like they had a clear path to the basket. He'll be shooting 2 free throws. And they'll retain possession. So the first one drops, and that makes it a 7-point lead. So he gets them both, and it's an 8-point game. And for the Heat, they're shooting in this game 45%. And he commits the intentional foul. Good on the first, and that will put them up by 9. And the Suns here with a different look. Jermaine O'Neal's checked in for Gortat. Fry comes in for Michael Beasley. Sebastian Telfair, he's checked in for Shannon Brown. And it's Marshall in for Goran Dragic. O'Neal misses. Heat shoot Clark, and they can just let the clock run out here.
No argument with that W.
That's good. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back.
Well, the outcome is not in question now. They've got it all wrapped up.
Agreed. I mean, they're just looking to simply run the clock out now.
Here is Telfair over Bosch. Telfair gets the bucket.
I tell you what, fellas, he loves those mid-range jumpers. I mean, that's where he makes his money.
And so Miami takes this one by a big margin. They put on a show to
55.